Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Allie. Today, or this week, I'm going to be reading an anthology, which I'm so excited about. This just happened to be perfect timing for Black History Month, and also this is the pick for the Literally Dead book club, which is Kayla's book club, and it is the Out There Screaming anthology that was edited by Jordan Peele. So not only am I going to be reading the books that he selected and put together in this book, but I also want to go through and rewatch his movies. What I love about his work is that sometimes I'm literally just like, what is going on right now? But that is some of my favorite horror whenever sometimes it takes rewatching or rereading to really grasp certain things and be like, oh my gosh, and be a little bit more mind blown. And I've watched Us a couple times now, and honestly, the first time I watched it, I was like, that was so creepy, but really good, The second time I watched it, I was like, oh my god, this movie is so good. So I am excited because I do want to rewatch that this week, but I also want to rewatch Get Out and Nope because I've only watched those both once. So I'm excited to see the second time around if I get the same exact feeling like I did watching Us for the second time, because I feel like I will. I feel like I'll pick up on certain things, and his work is incredible though. I love the style of his movies, and I think he does a phenomenal job. And I know he has another one that I believe is coming out this year, and I've heard different things about some of his future movies are going to feature things from past movies. I think Nope. I don't know. I'm really excited for them though, and I'm excited to see what all stories are on this. I think there's actually quite a few, and this is Black horror, so from Black authors, and I'm gonna have to count, you guys. So there's the foreword from Jordan Peele, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 19 stories. I actually thought there was more than that, but I'm so excited. I am seeing a lot of new to me authors. There is some in here that I know of because I have some of their books on my TBR that I'm going to be reading very soon. I actually have them from my library right now. Wow, I think I've only read from one of these authors. There's so many that I don't even recognize, so I'm super excited to look more into their work, see which ones work for me as I read, and I will definitely be making a list of people who stories stick out to me for future reading 3 books by this author, so I can taste test a little bit more, and see some more of their work. I have read from P. Djeli Clark, and I do really like his work, so I'm excited to have one from him in this as well. But I'm gonna get started. I'm going to take you guys along with me this week. I have a lot of videos going at the same time, so I thought that this was just perfect. Reading a short story or 2 a day, probably a little bit more than that, just so that, some days I'll read more than others so that I can fit it all into hopefully a week. But yeah, I'm excited to take you guys along with me and discover some new Black authors.
I can't learn my lesson. I can't do shit right, take antidepressants. Illness and welfare robbed my adolescence. My friends probably hate me, can't answer a message. Filled with anxiety, always behind me. Feeling inadequate's always what's driving me. Not a role model, that's not what I strive to be. Can't go outside, I'm afraid they'd be finding me. Paranoid about my privacy, yeah. And they always asking questions about my face, can't relate. Fucking caught my own reflection, broke a mirror the other day. Got a lot of bad shit that I'm taking to my grave. Got a fucking date with death on house arrest till trial days. So I grab the red wine on rainy days and then I pour it, cause I'll age another fucking 1,000 days before I know it. Yeah, I spent it.
Okay, so I only made it through 2 of the stories in this tonight, and now I'm going to bed. So I thought I would at least check in with you guys on what I thought so far. I can say I really enjoyed the introduction from Jordan Peele himself, and I actually just went ahead and bought the audiobook because I know it'll help me throughout the week. If I get busy, I can still kind of like stay on top of my stories. And so it was really cool that he read the little introduction as well, and kind of gives us a little bit of an idea of what to expect with these horror stories. So the first one was Reckless Eyeballing by N.K. Jemisin, and this one was about a cop. So hard to read for one, and I think that kind of took me out of it, of wanting to really enjoy the read, and I think I'm gonna land at a lower rating for that, while I do think the talk of it is very important and it really sheds light on the corruption, and not saying that every cop is corrupt, but it's a really touchy subject, and the corruptness and the level of big-headedness that some people in that authority role seem to think it's okay is so alarming in so many ways. And it's kind of like one of those like realistic horrors of it. It's kind of taking you out of the story because it's so real. Kind of horror sci-fi twist that was thrown into this story was much later in the story than what I would have liked, with it being such a short story to begin with. It's kind of like this cop is seeing like eyes everywhere and he's super corrupt, and then it is kind of like his downfall and he's being caught for all of these wrongdoings, and there's a little bit of a twist there with these eyes that he has been seeing, and I liked the concept of it intertwining with everything going on. The horror aspects at the end were great. I just wish there was a little bit more of that throughout the story, so I think I am landing at a 2 or a 3 on this one. Alright, the second story was Eye and Tooth by Rebecca Roanhorse, and I've never read anything by either one of these authors. This one did it for me a lot more. This one follows a brother and a sister who are traveling, and we come to find out that they are on a, not quest, but like it kind of felt like that, with their like magic blood and like their family. They have like this black magic where they have what is called the eye and the tooth, where she's kind of like, you know, the supporter, and they're, you know, they're paired when it comes to this magic that's within their blood and their family line, where her brother is the eye and can really like see things. So we come to find out that they are being called, and this is kind of like a job situation. They go to this house and they meet this lady who's very like uptight and particular. She wants their help. She says there is something out in the cornfield, and I don't want to give too much away from the story because it was very entertaining but very, very short. I kind of wish it was a little bit longer than what it was, but I really enjoyed this one, and I felt like it was very intriguing with the play on monsters and kind of having like that sight, almost like having The Shine, if you've read The Shining or watched The Shining, kind of having that like inside psychic ability, or in this case having the sight of being able to like see it, and although I did predict elements, I still at the same time was like, I hope that's what's happening here, because I like that. That's cool, and interesting, and just something that's different. And that's kind of what I was expecting more from this story. That's what I wanted, or from this book, that's the kind of stories I want more of. So yeah, this one's a 4 or 5. I feel I'm just really tired tonight, so it's hard for me to give you like an exact rating. You guys will know from what I throw up on the screen and editing, but yeah, I am going to rest on it. I'm so tired, and make my mind up more tomorrow when I've kind of simmered on it a little bit more, and I will definitely be reading more stories tomorrow than what I did tonight. I am just so tired and ready for bed. So I almost forgot. I literally shut everything off and then was like, oh, I forgot. Don't really know what all I have planned for this week, but I have so many like current projects or whips, work in progress, that I've been working on and have not completed. And one of or two of them is some different blankets that my great grandma started and never finished. And then after she passed and the family was like going through her things, these were some of the things that I found at her home and decided to keep. I have been so rusty on knitting or crocheting or anything like that for years, so I'm kind of like relearning and reteaching myself how to do these things, and I'm really excited to say that I am finishing a couple of her blankets. I'm so excited to see like how they look in the end. I am trying to get a little bit more familiar. If you've seen my Valentine's Day vlog, I made a heart banner. I still actually have it hung up over there because I haven't moved it. That helped me learn or relearn some of the crocheting stitches, and I was able to easily look at her blanket and be like, oh, I know what she's doing. And it has like a lot of like triple stitches. I just had to really look at the details and know like how many like chains she was doing in between for the pattern, and then doing 3 of the triple stitches. If you don't crochet, this is probably like a foreign language to you, but relearning the different stitches and stuff has just been so much fun. I'm enjoying it so much. But this is the one I was really focusing on, but I ran out, or she didn't have any more white, or it just got misplaced. I did not get it, unfortunately, and I need white next. I have finished out my rows of this beautiful like maroon shade, and my next shade in the pattern, as you can see, it's maroon, white, pink, maroon, so I need white. It's a bright like white shade. So another blanket of hers that I will be working on next is striped yellow and white. I think this was like a baby blanket she was working on, and it's really close to the same pattern. There's like triple stitches, so it's going to be super easy to pick up on. I think the only difference is she chained in between them only once, where in this one she did twice. So very similar designs. But I was like, I wonder if she used the same white, so I went and I grabbed the white that's being used for that one, and it's not exactly the same. So then I was like, well, let me go look at my yarn and see what I have, and I do have some white. I brought it in here, and it's still not exact. This is a soft white. I think I just need like a straight up bright white, and I've heard of the trick where you just cut off a piece of your white and take it into like your craft store or whatever to be able to put it up against the other pieces, but like I don't have like extra. I would have to literally cut off my blanket. And this blanket is rather big now. Like there's a lot of progress on it that I can't just take this whole ass blanket into the store with me. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I think my best bet is to maybe take a picture side by side of this one with this so I can see a little bit of the difference, and then cut off a piece of this one and take it into the store and then just compare it with things in the store and with the photo, but lighting and stuff's gonna be different. I don't know. But maybe I will make that trip tomorrow. We will see. I was really making so much progress on this and really enjoying my time doing it that I'm kind of bummed to have to like stop or have like that roadblock, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm going to bed. I will see you guys tomorrow.
But I love when it rains, 'cause I'm agoraphobic.
Hey guys, welcome back to another day. It is actually so nice outside, so sunny. It's 61 now. It was in the 40s this morning, so that's why I'm wearing a sweater. It's been a long day. It rained so much last night. That's why I'm shocked about the weather. But I started back out there screaming today. I haven't been able to make it too far because this morning, as crack of dawn, it was the middle school spelling bee, and I don't know if I've mentioned it in a vlog, but Roman won out of his class, so he got to move on to the spelling bee today, and he placed first in fourth grade. So yeah, we are so proud. It was a great morning, and I've been shaking and just anxious and like on the verge of tears all day, like just nervous for him, but also just like I'm so proud. And either way, like the thing is, whether he won or not, it was literally just seeing his courage and how brave he was of getting up there in front of everybody, because there was other parents and stuff there watching as well, and then all the other kids he went up against, and they did like 17 rounds, and he did amazing and won.
Your word is disdain. D-I-S-D-A-I-N. That is correct. Congratulations.
So then I came home and chilled for a little bit. I got like 2 hours of sleep last night. I'm so tired today. But I did make it through some of these, so I thought I would talk to you guys about them. After reading for a little bit, I did have to turn around and go back to the school because they do like the finalist. There's can only be one winner of the school, so it was the 4th grade winner, which was Roman, and then the 5th grade winner, and then the 6th grade winner. And Roman did get out first that time around, but he tried his hardest, and I think he was just excited to be able to participate with the older kids. And it was a cool experience for him. But yeah, I'm so proud of him, and we're gonna have to celebrate tonight. But yeah, now I have a little bit of time to kill before I have to go pick up the little one. So I'm gonna run and get some Sonic drinks because it sounds so good today in this weather. But I did want to talk to you guys really quick about a few of these stories that I read. So I filled you guys in on 2 yesterday. The 3rd one was called Wandering Devil by Cadwell Turnbull. And this one is one of those short stories where I can't really say too much or I will be giving so much away. So I will just say it was rather boring to me, unfortunately. It was about this guy almost just trying to figure out his life and wanting to move. He kind of always was uprooted because I want to say his dad wasn't in the picture, but then like his mom just like up and left and wanted to like pursue a career or something like that, but like without the baggage of having a kid. So he was raised by other family and eventually wanted to move to find his mom, and he settles somewhere else. He has like this girlfriend. It's kind of just talking about his life, and there really wasn't much horror to it either until like the very end. And then I was just kind of like, at this point, it just didn't really work for me, so I do think I'm landing on a 2 with that one. Then we have Invasion of the Baby Snatchers by Lesley, Nneka, Arimah, or Arimah. I could be mispronouncing that. I know I'm mispronouncing that, and I apologize. It's kind of hard when I'm in the car, like, trying to film this for you guys. And I'm so sorry if my car is literally like just growling at you guys the whole time. I'm gonna try to like diffuse all of that. I just thought it was silly horror. I just thought it was kind of funny. I think any type of like horror that's trying to be super serious and has aliens in it, to me is just kind of like that haha silly horror that I do like. But no, I think this one would be more of like a 3 for me. I did like some of the like body horror. It wasn't really a whole lot, or not as much as I expected from it. And it was just kind of just weird concepts with aliens that it wasn't my favorite alien story, I guess, of all time. As you can kind of get from the title, this is it kind of has like this point of view of this character who's like interviewing this person, telling her like it's gonna be okay, like trying to ask her questions if she remembers anything, but ultimately this patient is like pregnant by like an alien, and we're starting to find out that this is a very common thing going on, and it spirals from there. Okay, and then the last one I read was The Other One by Violet Allen, and I really enjoyed this one. It was kind of a modern take on horror with texting and having this kind of like toxic relationship where this girl can't get over her ex and is still messaging him until finally one night she's kind of like out of it. She's like, I shouldn't be texting him, and she texts him, and somebody else texts her back and says like, who is this? Why are you texting my boyfriend? Then she gets a text message from him again, and it says, come and bring money, and it has a gory picture with it. And it just evolves from there into a, what is going on, and are these people okay? It's kind of the, is it another girl texting her? Is it somebody else? Like, what type of story is this? But it ends up kind of having a little bit of a sci-fi, which I'm starting to realize is kind of a repetitive thing so far with this book. And I don't know, I just overall liked it. I feel like it had the most body horror so far, and I really liked that, the gory bits, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. I don't know, I feel like I could give that one a 5. I'm landing at a 4 or 5 with it. I'm going to listen to some more while I run. I'm going to stop by Hobby Lobby because I need to pick up some more yarn. I have a problem, I know. And then I'm gonna get some drinks and then go pick up the little one.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. What's the point? I'm not okay.
Alright, I just got back home. I literally just pulled into the driveway. So I did go back because I didn't want to keep it mispronounced if I did mispronounce it. And it was Lesley, Nneka, Arimah, who wrote Invasion of the Baby Snatchers. But since I've left you guys, let me see. Lasiren by Erin E. Adams. This one is about, actually, I think this one and the next one are about sisters. So in this book, there is 3 sisters, and they're kind of told about like folk tales, which you guys know, if you've been on my channel, you guys know I love any stories that have folk tales or urban myths and legends, any type of like stories, especially like with mythical beings. And in this story, let me actually go to it because the mom is telling them about a lady in the water and how if they see this lady or she approaches them, to never trust a woman alone in the water. She will have dark skin like ours and straight hair like theirs. If she calls to you, run before she can speak. If you are fool enough to hear, you must do as she says. Listen, or she'll snatch you and leave a shell in your place. So, of course, 2 of the sisters, the younger ones, go and they find this lady, and they end up speaking to her and trying to give her a shell. And one of them comes back to the other sister freaking out because she's like, she took our sister. So then it is kind of like a quest and a journey of these 2 sisters going to try to get back their sister that they lost. And it kind of is a story that touches on the concept of like, how much would you give up for somebody that you love? It was really beautifully written, and I loved the whole folktale aspects of it, with it being like a siren in the water. It's really, really cool. I would give that one a 5. I thought the concept of it and everything in it was just done very well. I don't know why I always like second guess myself on how to say her name, but it's The Writer by Tananarive Due. This one is also about sisters. There's 2 of them. This is a very interesting and very well done story, taking on racism in a different light. These two girls get on a bus, and from there it kind of twists into this like horror sci-fi as well, of the other characters that are on the bus, the driver kind of treating them differently, and there's also talk of like the deputies or whatever before they got on the bus treating them a certain way, smirking at them certain ways, making them feel very uncomfortable and not accepted. And not just that, but being two girls that are scared of being on this bus with like these grown-ass men who are looking at them differently. It kind of then twists into this horror sci-fi aspect of the person who is also on the bus. In a way, there's a little bit of a possession feel, also kind of like mind powers, mind control going on. It was really interesting. I really liked it. I don't want to say much more because I do think it's one that you should go into and not know everything about it. But that's the basics of it, and I really enjoyed that one as well. I think I would land at a 4 with it. I also got the drinks, and I got so much yarn. I was in there for so long, and it was just stupid. I should have not been in there for as long as I was, but I went back and forth. I've been trying to figure out yarn. It's so hard because it's like weights and size and all kinds of different things. It's a little frustrating to me, and I'm still trying to learn, but I'm just really having fun doing crocheting right now. I picked up knitting again this morning, and I just found I didn't enjoy it as much as I have been crocheting. So I'm just gonna do what I enjoy right now, and I have some fun video ideas coming up with certain theme books that I think would be really cool to make like some different like granny squares for them, maybe end up making a sweater out of them or a blanket, or I don't even know what. So I got a lot of different colors though. I love this color theme going on. It's so pretty, but I just got very overwhelmed in there because I just didn't go prepared. I knew I needed to pick up some white, so that's what I got, but I ended up getting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rolls. And you know what? It was 30% off each of them, so it's the first time I've been able to catch a sale there, and so I just jumped on it and got that many. But I just got some different colors to play around with, make some different projects, and just kind of do what I'm in the mood for. I definitely still want to finish out the projects I already have and not start like too many whips at once, but it's keeping me sane right now. So it is what it is. But I will check back in with you guys in a little bit. I have a little bit of time before I have to run, or one of us has to run and pick up the little guy. So, see you guys soon.
Stop staring, be quiet. Look at me, there I go, choking on my silence. And I don't think you want me cause I wanna keep it private.
So today I've only read one story so far. I'm going to make some more progress tonight with it, but I have been thrifting and going flea marketing all day with a friend, and well, all morning so far. So now I have my afternoon where I am going to be reading at least a few more from this, but I do have a couple other books that are going to be due at the library very soon. So I'm trying to like fit them in, but also be able to try to film while doing so at the same time. I did not plan accordingly, so it's gonna be a wild night. So the next story I read is the Aesthete by Justin C. Key. This was a different one for sure. So it's kind of like we're in a sci-fi type of world. I kind of got a little bit of like iRobot or even Edward Scissorhand vibes of being in the point of view, or kind of like the story of this person who is not a human, but living in a human world with others of their kind. And he refers to his creator as like, you know, the person who like made him, and his creator has now died, which is giving like Edward Scissorhand vibes, and he's kind of like going through life trying to figure things out. He is being judged or has like a lot of pressure on him from regular humans. And I think it's kind of like an underlining like story on racism and kind of like how they are treated, and liked that like take on it. I thought it was very creative and very unique. But the story in general was, I feel like, a pretty cool one as far as like the idea and making it a little horror by having this being or whatever he is, having people in his life that like he cares for, but also almost feeling like he's on the run from this person who is after him and his kind. I did enjoy it. I'm landing at a 3 or 4. I don't know. I'm landing somewhere in between there. So yeah, I have some more to read today, but I did go flea marketing, and did I film a tiny bit of it? Absolutely not. I did not film a single thing. And it wasn't until I got home that I was like, I didn't film anything today. So instead of taking you guys with me flea marketing, I thought I could just sit down and now give you guys a haul of what I got, because I'm not gonna lie, flea markets were not popping off today. They were super busy. I feel like there was a lot of people than usual. I had company. It was a good time, being able to catch up a little bit with a friend and just, you know, hang out. But literally the only thing I got today was books. I did find some good books, and I am really excited about that. But usually I'll have like a trinket or two, or find like something kind of like cool gothic vibe, or, you know, something like that. Nothing today. But we got some books. So the first place we went to, I didn't find anything at the first place we went to, but the second place we went to is my spot that I absolutely love for books. There is like 2 different booths there. I don't know who they're ran by, but they do an incredible job, and they keep it stocked with books, and I'm here for it. They always have really good Stephen King selections. I've collected a bunch of my Stephen King books from their booths. And I was really excited to find The Outsider there. This is the first time I've seen The Outsider there. Usually her booth is like his 90s work, sometimes 2000s. So to see The Outsider there, I can't remember for sure what year this was. Yeah, 2018, I was actually gonna guess that. It was really cool to find this. I do think it was like $7, which isn't like amazing for thrifting, I feel like, whenever these books are usually a lot cheaper. But I do kind of feel like Stephen King's prices are kind of being raised a little bit. That's what I've found out while looking for his books at thrift stores. I also picked up The Dead Zone because I was going through, I'm currently like cleaning up my bookshelf. The week of Valentine's, I kind of did a little bit more to it and organized things. So now this week I've went through and I'm like marking off what books I have from like authors that I buy a lot of their books, so that I know, especially like for the authors that I can find when thrifting. This one I needed to pick up, so I seen it and I was like, perfect, I'm just gonna grab it while I'm here. And I think it was just like a couple dollars. I also, at that one, I'm trying to see, at that one I think I also got this set of 3 Michael Crichton books. It was funny because my friend was getting like a bunch of his books, and she had picked one up of this pirate book, and I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to borrow that or find one too, because I have some pirate books I'm wanting to read soon, and this was one that kept popping up every time I was looking up pirate books. So I went ahead and just got the set. I don't really know much about a lot of his work. I kind of only knew about Jurassic Park. I haven't read it, but that's kind of all I knew. And then I knew about this one just because it kept popping up whenever I was like looking into pirate books. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Then I also have The Prey and The Timeline, and they were in a bundle for $3, so it was perfect. We hit up quite a few places today. The next shop, I only found some DVDs. Stephen King, I hate that they wrote on the packaging, So annoying. But it was 50% off, and there's the Dead Zone, Pet Cemetery, Silver Bullet, and Graveyard Shift. So I thought that was really cool. So I guess I did find something other than just books, but the rest is just books. The next place I found... Oh, I forgot. I also found this book. It's all about Frankenstein at my favorite like book place. It's huge, but like I love books like this to like have like on display, and I thought it was so cool. I'm currently like still working on like setups in my like office space area. I'm wanting to have like a really just cool, fun, hella spooky setup. So I think this would be really cool featured in that area. But then the next place we went to, I found for 20 cents E.T., which is really cool. I also found a nonfiction book about Lizzie Borden and like the whole case, and I think like, yeah, the legend, the truth, the final chapter. Thought it was cool. Miss Lizzie Borden. But I also found this bundle, but it's old TV show books. So we have The Invaders. So I really liked this one. I think, again, this will be really cool for the hella spooky setup. I also liked The Munsters. They're just so cool. And they're actual books, like stories. I don't know if these are like the type that I would really like read, but I do like the graphics, and there is some pictures throughout it. But I just thought the books themselves were like really cool to put on display. These I didn't really have to have, but they're just in a set. So yeah. Then the next place I found an Alice Hoffman, At Risk. I've actually never heard of this one, but I think the cover is really pretty, and I'm a huge Alice Hoffman fan. And then the last place I found 2 more Michael Cretons. I was not like on a mission to find a bunch of his books, but we both found a lot of his books today. I couldn't pass this up. It's hardcover. It's so cool. I think it was like $3, and oh, it's just so stunning. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's so cool. Now I just need a matching Jurassic Park, because this is The Lost World, the second one. So I need a Jurassic Park hardcover, preferably, that's like this, so that I can have the matching set. But I also found his State of Fear, and I thought the cover was really cool in it too. It's kind of like holographic. It's really cool. But that is my haul. I'm gonna read some more, and I will get back to you guys. It's been a really good Saturday, and now I have some stuff to get done, books to read, and hoping to make a dent in this. So I currently have you guys propped up on my bed, which probably not a great idea. Hopefully it's not like too shaky or anything. I'm having a very lazy day, so I decided to get up and put a mask on, and maybe help me be a little bit more productive, and maybe I'll get up and like get some chores done after this. But I wanted to check in with you guys since I last left you. I have read quite a few of these stories. I've been just flying through them. So I think the one that I left off on is Pressure. Pressure by Ezra Claytan Daniels. This is about a girl who feels a lot of pressure from her family because she is Black, and she has a lot of family members that are not, and one in particular, his name is Andrew. I don't know if he's like a cousin or something like that. She can't understand why all of her family shows favoritism towards him whenever she has like worked her ass off to get to where she is, and she's very successful, and she has a really hard time coming in for family events and stuff because she is trying to not be around this person who treats her a different way. He singles her out because at the same time, he has it out for her, but not for the same reasons as her. His is more out of spite and racism. I could have really liked the way that this book went, but I just felt like there was some stuff still missing from it. I felt like it could have still been better. I think there was some really cool aspects to it, but I landed at a 3 with it. The next one is Dark Home by Nnedi Okorafor. And this one, so good. I absolutely ate this one up. I loved it so much. This is a horror story that deals with grief. We have this girl who has went to her homeland for her father's like going home ceremony. He has recently passed, and the whole story is her dealing with her grief of losing her father and many years ago losing her mother as well, and how feeling like your mind can play tricks on you when you're at that low point in your life. But also they're doing this ceremony, which was really cool, kind of like seeing this like Nigerian culture, like or reading about her experience with this ceremony, but how the others are kind of being pretty accepting of it's his time to go, but she cannot let go of her father, who is such an important part of her life. And so while everyone in the ceremony is supposed to be inside, she goes outside to just a fever dream of tons of cloaked people, their own kind of like ritual around the deceased. And she goes up and ends up taking a trinket, his ring, as a way to keep him with her, and she wears this. So then she flies home to, I believe it was Arizona, to her dog and her boyfriend, and they don't live together, and he is traveling, I think, for work, so she's home alone with the dog when a lot of strange things start happening. I absolutely loved where this goes. I think I'm a sucker for horror stories with grief in general, but I absolutely loved the writing. I felt like the pace was amazing, and then the horror bits were just incredible with this story. I absolutely loved it. It's kind of like a take on horror elements involve her father kind of being part of a society, like a dark society, and cult-like ordeal. So yeah, I just found it so good. 5 out of 5. Then we have Flicker by L.D. Lewis. This one was, for me, I think if you could call any of them a fever dream, it was this one. This one starts out with this girl going to her optometrist brother to see him for an appointment, to get her eyes checked. They kind of like joke back and forth, and then she makes a 185. She makes a comment about, yeah, she says, hey, what is it called when your vision fades out for like half a second? He's like, blink. She's like, no, like your eyes are wide open and you just are sitting there and things just go dark, like the quickest power surge. Right after this, she is then with her friends, and then it's like we have this huge time jump to like the end of the world, the purge, just everything just crumbling. And I feel like there was so many really cool horror aspects to this story, but there was also just like this confusing thought I kept having of how is this all intertwining? What is going on? Like I said, fever dream. I did like aspects of it though, and I gave it a 3. I do apologize if you guys can hear my neighbor's dog barking. It is just barking and barking and barking. Next up was the most strongest Obeah woman of the world by Nalo Hopkinson. This one was like a fantasy horror. It was really cool. This girl goes to this big blue swimming hole where she is going to take down this devilfish. And when she falls into it and is more so attacked by this devilfish, everything starts to blur and her life changes, like, drastically. She is awoken, and then we get the body horror that is her body turning into the devilfish herself. And she's starting to have these like monster animalistic thoughts and tendencies, wanting to grab a live chicken and just feast on it right then and there. She goes to her father for help, and all of the village people are just very concerned and just like, we got to stay away from her. Like, she's like a devil. And she's still kind of like losing her mind to her animal side, but also trying to fix herself. And she goes on the quest to find the devilfish who has done this to her to fix things. It was a journey of a read, but I was so freaking entertained by it, and I really liked it. I think I landed at a 4 with that initially after reading it, but it was really good. I really liked that one. And the last one I just read was the Norwood Trouble by Maurice Broaddus. And this one is, again, a story that is a little more like realism fiction, with just like a pinch of horror to it. This follows a girl who is trying to figure out why she can't go to this other part of town or whatever that's mainly populated with the whites, and why she is getting so many warnings from her friends and family who are black that they just don't mix well, and that she should take it as a warning or she's gonna get herself hurt. Like, they're really like looking out for her, and she can't understand why they would treat her that way, or why she can't just even stand up for herself. Until one day she sneaks to the ice cream shop that is full of white people who are judging her the whole time she's ordering hers, and they're appalled that she even thinks she can stay in this ice cream shop and eat her ice cream there. So she is then taken aside by one of the white kids or boys, and not only faces, you know, the racism from him, but also is assaulted. And this, she quickly rejects him, but this spirals into now a full-on raging like war over how dare she treat him like that. Heartbreaking at times, and it is a tough one to read about and know that this type of hatred is in the world. I felt like was told very, very well. I would have really liked to have a little bit more of the horror aspects in this story, because once you got to the horror, which was at the very end, it was good. It was so good. How it was written, everything was so good about it. I liked the different horror elements we have going on. We have like some body horror, gore, and just kind of like a spiritual, like calling on your ancestors type of magic that I liked as well. But overall, I think I landed at 3 with this one. What I can say, you guys, is that I am really, really loving this anthology. This is probably one of the best anthologies I've ever read. I've just stayed so entertained with it. I'm not gonna lie, this last week when I started this, after I started, I was like, I'm really not in the mood for an anthology. Like, I'm just not in the mood. I want to sit down and just read a long story, and then, you know, yeah. So I think it's keeping up with each one of them and trying to remember each one of them for like my check-ins and stuff kind of gets a little chaotic, that I was like, I don't think I'm in the mood for it this week. But I've had the urge to not want to pick it up, but as soon as I pick it up and start reading, I'm sucked in and I'm loving it so much. Like, I was only going to read a few more today, and I flew through, what was that, like 5? Can I do math? I think it was like 5. And I'm just absolutely loving it. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm also vlogging another video and I need to read from the other book, I would continue this. But it's about time for me to go wash this off. This one dries so quickly, but I did want to show you guys, today I've just decided to make, since I'm having a lazy day, progress on my blanket. I finished out the like maroon berry shade that I was working on that row, and then if you look at the pattern, I'm then supposed to go to white. I have 3 different yarn of white that I held up to this. I don't have her original. I might have already mentioned this. I don't have her original white that she used, but I had 2 other from her and one of my own from my own stock. I put them all up to it. None of them match. None of them. So then I go to Hobby Lobby, as you guys know, and I bought a couple more whites. Woo! Told you guys it was dangerous to put this in the bed. I'm gonna try to do this. But I went to Hobby Lobby and I picked up this white, and it literally just says white. Like, literally just white. It is more of like the shiny, so I was like, that might stick out a little bit, it might bother me, but I was like, I'm just gonna try it. You guys, it still, like, it just doesn't, it might on camera look like it matches, but it doesn't. And so I started it, and I started a row, and I got like quite a few in, maybe like half of one of the sides, and then put it all out, looked at it, did not like how it was looking. So I pulled it all back out, and I just decided that this blanket is just going to have that little bit of white, and that's it. And I'm gonna finish out the rest of it going pink, maroon, whatever, back and forth. So I have attached my pink. This is really hard to show you guys with holding the camera too, but I've attached my pink, and I've already made like almost 2 full rounds with the pink. So I got 3 more rounds after the second one of pink, and then I can switch back to the maroon. And I think I'm just gonna do that until I am happy with the blanket size or until I run out of the yarn. That's my check-in for today.
Five friends, but it's my own fault. I can't give in. I have to go. Up on the top.
I come with updates because I have all my notes and I also have the blanket. I finished it and I'm so excited. The only thing that's not finished with it is I went around with the like little bit of extra yarn and I guessed wrong on how much I had left to go around and finish off like the end, kind of just knitting it up to make the outer part a little bit thicker, and as you can see I ran out right there. So I have this much left. I am going to maybe cut off the tiniest bit and take it to the craft store and see if I can find any that will match it, but my hopes are not high because this is rather old yarn from my grandma. But the rest of it, I think only one side, maybe like, yeah, I got that much done of one side. So close to half, and then, so there's like close to half that's a little bit thinner than the rest, but the rest is stitched up pretty nicely. Looks a little bit thicker on the outside, but it is done. I did try to take some videos of it on my bed, like laid out, so you guys can see it a little bit better and see like a little bit of like the size. It ended up working out. There is still just that one strip of white, but I think it's really cute and I'm just excited that 1, I finished something, and 2, it was a project that was started by my great grandma. So it's just really cool. It's gonna be something cool to have and keep in the family maybe. So I also finished Out There Screaming, and the last bit of it, I really finished audio-wise, but I do have my notes that I took on it. So I left you guys off with A Grief of the Dead. This was about these twins. The twin brother died. It was connecting like with the dead. So now their sister is telling the one that's alive about like this old folk tale, and there's like, of like their ancestors, but there's like birds. There's a lot going on in this story, let me tell you. I did enjoy it. Overall, I could tell you that it's about grief. It's about some guilt. There's birds, bird-like creatures, but they're really feeling their guilt and grief for like their ancestors who were on a plantation and slaves, and it was a really good one to read. I did land at a 4 out of 5 with that one, and that was A Grief of the Dead by Rion Amilcar Scott. The next one was A Bird Sings by the Etching Tree by Nicole D. Sconiers. I rather enjoyed myself with this one. This takes place kind of like by like a highway. It's about these 2 girls who, I'm treading lightly here because I don't want to give anything away. Just know that it has a paranormal vibe to it. There is car accidents involved with it, so that could be kind of triggering to some. It's kind of also a good wants to like take down like the evil type of story. But I landed at a 5 with it, and I will definitely say if you pick up this anthology to read that one, because it was a really good one. I had a really good time with it. Then we have An American Fable, and I'm sorry if you guys hear the train, by Chesia Burke. And this one is early 1900s. It is taking on racism. This guy named Noble, is pretty much enduring like a beating from these white men, and this girl from the bus ends up using this type of like power to like help him escape, and tells him like, you have 5 minutes, you have to go, that's all the time I can give you. So we have a little bit of, I would say, fantasy vibes, but there's also a little bit like of that sci-fi with like being able to control the time or the place or whatever to help him escape, and then like what is to come, and why did this little girl choose him, why did she help him, a little bit of a mystery there. I liked it. I felt like there was parts of it that I didn't like about it. I kind of felt like the reading style or the writing style was a little slower paced and a little boring at times. I would have liked it to be a little bit more fast-paced. I wouldn't care if it was longer, but maybe just writing style a little bit more fast than what it was, because it just took me kind of a minute to really get into it. But once everything started clicking into place, I was like, oh, that's a really cool story. I did land at a 3 with it. Then we have Your Happy Place, which could just be the best in the entire book. This is by Terence Taylor, and it follows a father-husband who, you know, is waking up. He's at his happy place. His happy place is his home with his kids and his wife, and they're kind of like talking about their days and how their day is going to go and all of this, and he's kind of dreading going to work, but he is kind of just going with the flow. He knows, you know, kind of like in the back of his mind, he's just like, I gotta go to work, but you know, then I get to come home. He works at like this like prison, and the prisoners are just acting very weird. Like they are kind of acting like AI robots at this point, and he's trying to get to the bottom of it and figure out what is going on. I know that could be intriguing to you, maybe not. I feel like, to me personally, I was like, okay, you know, this is interesting enough, but where it goes from there is just phenomenal. I absolutely loved the ride of reading this and going in as blindly as I did, so I want to leave that for you guys. But it was so good. I loved the writing style. It was very fast-paced. You really just zoom through it. I can say from the bit I told you guys, I was probably landing at like a 3 or 4 because I did like the writing. I didn't think it was bad. I knew I was like, okay, this guy's gonna be trying to figure out like what's going on. The twist within the story and where the story goes landed me at a solid 5, and I loved it, and like I said, it's probably one of the best in this anthology altogether. Then we have Hide and Seek, which is by P. Jelly Clark. This was about a mom teaching these kids how to play hide and seek. It's very creepy, eerie atmosphere. We have no idea why this is going on. Why is she so, and I mean, like, it's like an intense game of hide and seek. I'm not even talking about The Conjuring, you know, clap and hide or whatever. I'm not talking about any of that. Like, I'm talking, it is intense. She acts like it is life or death, that these kids have to hide and seek, or have to hide, and something else is going to seek them. And we're trying to figure out the whole time, like, what is seeking them? Like, why do these kids have to hide so much? What's also going on within this family? Because the mom has been described as an alcoholic, but the people within the family, they're almost like the ants from Practical Magic, where people are coming to their house and asking for like their help with magic and stuff like that. So, I mean, the overall story is pretty cool. I felt like there was some loose ends for me and trying to just like piece it all together. I feel like for a short story, it was doing too much. I think it would have probably been a really cool novella or even a novel, but I did land at a 3 with it. I liked the hide and seek part and the beginning of the book and then how it wrapped up. I just think there was a lot of things in the middle that I personally didn't need, unfortunately. It was still a good one though. Then we have Origin Story, which was A Wild Time by Tochi Onyebuchi. I'm hoping I'm saying that correct. I landed at a 3 out of 5 with this one as well. This one follows these 4 white boys, and it is literally written like a screenplay. A lot of people don't like it because of that. I thought it was a little refreshing being in an anthology. I don't know if I would have liked this one as the outro story, which it is the last story, so that was kind of weird for me, but I didn't mind the setup, but the story within it was just so bland to me. And I've seen that some people really love it and some people just really hate it or don't understand it. My gathering of it is they are talking about their privilege, I guess, and like maybe we should, you know, be this way, or maybe I shouldn't be this way, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I, you know, and it's just kind of like this back and forth. And definitely with the audio, it's kind of hard to follow more so, and it's kind of tedious because they have to just keep saying like boy 1 or boy 2 or, you know, whatever. And I don't know, I kind of would have, if it was going to be the screenplay direction, I kind of wish the story was different than what it was. Like I said, I landed at a 3 with it. I didn't really get it towards the end either. I felt like it just kind of wrapped up weird. So that lands me at 1 2-star, 9 3 stars, a lot of 3 stars, which is very common for me with anthologies, and then 5 4 stars and 4 5 stars, and I'm happy with that. I feel like there is just as much 4 and 5 stars as there was 3 stars. I'm very happy with that, but as a whole, I think I still have to say I think that this anthology is a 3-star for me because I just had so many 3 stars. It kind of weighs it out a little bit. Still stand by, this is probably one of the best anthologies I've ever read as far as staying entertained, loving so many of the stories within it, whether they got a 5-star or not, loving the way that they went. I feel like my downfall here and why I would say 3-star over even just giving it a 4-star is, was this really a horror anthology? Yes, each story I felt like for the most part had like horror bits, but that's it. Like I feel like for the most part it was just tiny little bits of the story. Some of the stories really went in on that horror element, but other ones it's like they barely brushed the surface and it just really took me out of it. Like I really was expecting, I mean, I've seen Jordan Peele's movies, which I did watch this week. I just feel like it just took me out a little bit. I felt like it was so heavy fantasy or sci-fi that it's hard for me to call this one just a complete horror. I probably, like recommending this to people, I would tell them like, don't go into it expecting like a lot of horror because it really is just a blend of things and not heavy horror whatsoever. But I did enjoy it, and I did make a little short list of what authors I could see myself picking up more books from, or what I'm excited to pick up more books from. The first one is Violet Allen, who wrote The Other People. I don't really want to break down all of these because we'll be here forever. So I think I'll just read off the names for you guys. I, of course, want to read from P. Djeli Clark again. The one in this, Hide and Seek, wasn't my favorite from him, but I am still intrigued because I do like his writing and I like where his stories normally go. I also enjoyed stories from Rebecca Roanhorse, Erin E. Adams, Tananarive Due, Nnedi Okorafor, Nicole D. Sconiers, and Terence Taylor. Those were the ones that really stuck out to me. I could see myself reading from again and looking for. I know some of these people are pretty new authors and don't have actual novels out yet, so I will be keeping my eye open for them. And then some of them are just in other anthologies, so maybe I will pick them up in the future as well. I'm kind of thinking about doing maybe like do these authors like hold up from this anthology and reading some of their other work. But yeah, I went into looking into them and seeing that a lot of them don't have other novels out, so I might have to wait on that for a little bit. But I enjoyed reading it this week nonetheless. It was a good time, really good stories, whether it was fully horror or not. But ultimately, it is a 3 for me. You guys will have to let me know if you guys read this too and which books were your favorite from it or stories were your favorite from it. I would love to know. And thank you so much for hanging out with me for another long weekly vlog. I appreciate it. And I will see you in my next video.
Something That's not my experience. Not at all. The Armitages are so good to us.
Because I'm fucking shy, I never wanna show my face sometimes. And I got trouble looking people in the eye, 'cause when I do I just forget half.